Desperate for a change, the brothers sought the guidance of a renowned spiritualist who lived on the outskirts of the village. The wise old man listened to their woes and, after much deliberation, he revealed a solution that sent chills down their spines. "You must make a sacrifice," he said solemnly. "One of you must offer yourself to the spirits in exchange for wealth and prosperity for your family." "I will do it," he declared, his voice resolute. "I will sacrifice myself for the sake of our family," Kwame said. But as the years went by, a darkness began to creep into their once happy homes. Greed crept into their hearts, and their promise to their beloved brother faded into the background. Their wives, envious of the attention and resources given to Kwame's family, urged them to cut ties with their nephews and nieces. Reluctantly, Ose and Kofi complied, severing the lifeline that had kept Kwame's family afloat. Hi. My name is Uncle Sam. Before we get deeper into this story, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can be notified once we drop a new story. Thank you. Once upon a time, in a small village deep within the heart of Africa, there lived three brothers, Kwame, Ose, and Kofi. They were known throughout the village for their kindness, their strong bond, and their love for their families. However, despite their virtues, they could not escape the shackles of poverty that seemed to haunt their family for generations. Each brother was married with children of his own, and together they struggled to make ends meet. Their hearts were small, their crops meager, and their pockets empty. They yearned for a way to break free from the curse of poverty that seemed to have befallen their family. Desperate for a change, the brothers sought the guidance of a renowned spiritualist who lived on the outskirts of the village. The wise old man listened to their woes and, after much deliberation, he revealed a solution that sent chills down their spines. "You must make a sacrifice," he said solemnly. "One of you must offer yourself to the spirits in exchange for wealth and prosperity for your family." The brothers were taken aback by the proposition. Sacrifice one of their own. It was a heavy burden to bear. But as days turned into weeks and their situation grew worse, the eldest brother, Kwame, made a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. "I will do it," he declared, his voice resolute. "I will sacrifice myself for the sake of our family." His brothers protested, tears streaming down their faces, but Kwame remained steadfast in his decision. Before he made his final journey to the spiritualist, he gathered his brothers and made them promise to care for his wife and children as if they were their own. With heavy hearts, Ose and Kofi agreed, unable to deny their brother's selflessness. And so, on a moonlit night, Kwame went into the depths of the forest to meet his fate. Days passed, and the village buzzed with whispers of the brothers' newfound wealth. Kwame's sacrifice had not been in vain. Ose and Kofi had indeed become wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. They built grand homes, wore fine clothes, and dined on the finest foods. But as the years went by, a darkness began to creep into their once happy homes. Greed crept into their hearts, and their promise to their beloved brother faded into the background. Their wives, envious of the attention and resources given to Kwame's family, urged them to cut ties with their nephews and nieces. Reluctantly, Ose and Kofi complied, severing the lifeline that had kept Kwame's family afloat. With each passing day, the bond between the brothers weakened, replaced by bitterness and resentment. Meanwhile, Kwame's wife and children struggled to survive without the support they had once relied on. Their cries for help fell on deaf ears, and they were left to fend for themselves in a world that seemed increasingly hostile. And so, the once very close family was torn apart by the very wealth they had sought so desperately. For in their pursuit of riches, they had forgotten the true meaning of family and the selfless sacrifice of a brother who had given everything for their sake. Then it all started to fall apart. Gradually their wealth started to disappear. Money could suddenly vanish from their homes, everything started falling apart. At first it looked like a bad business deal. It looked at their little business that people saw as what grew and started giving them a lot of money has suddenly started falling apart. Like it said, everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. The brothers didn't understand until one day. Ose gave his wife a huge sum of money to buy things needed in the house. She placed the money in a handbag. As Ose was still speaking to his wife, she opened the same handbag to put her phone in the bag and noticed the money was gone. She immediately showed her husband the bag and they were both shocked. That was when it dawned on Ose that something was wrong. He called his brother Kofi and they agreed to meet. After they discussed, they discovered why their money is vanishing. They have not kept their elder brother's wishes to take care of his family. They looked for Kwame's wife to plead with her and resume their promise, but it was too late. Kwame's wife and children had moved from the village. It was like they have vanished and nobody seems to know where they went. 3 years passed and the brothers were back to poverty. Worse than they were before, and again more united than ever. It was as if wealth made them lose the value of family and the bond they once shared had now returned. They had lost all the money they made from their eldest brother's life of sacrifice. They blamed their wives for the mistakes, but never told them the source of their wealth. One evening, as the family were having a meeting at Kofi's compound, to look for a solution, a big car came into the compound. Kwame, his wife and 2 sons and daughter came down from the car all looking very rich and well dressed. His brothers were so scared they almost fainted. Kwame, you are alive? How? He told them he's alive. Yes, he offered himself to the spirit, thinking he was going to be killed. But when he got there he was told he would serve the spirit as a slave for the rest of his life. In exchange, the spirit will make his family rich. He told them how some people also came for such requests, and were actually unlucky, as lives were taken for the wealth they desired. But in his case, he was spared because he was destined to become great. He said, there is a mystical mirror in the old man's house that could reveal people in their homes and see how they are doing. He told them he saw everything and how they treated his family. The brothers bowed their heads in shame. He said, it was a woman who came there to look for means to save the life of her only dying son, that he sent to tell his wife that he is alive and what is going on. The woman delivered the message to his wife, but she couldn't come and look for him, until Ajua, his best friend, who he gave his last savings to support his travel out of the country, came back from abroad with a lot of money, and came to pay the price required to get him out of the spirit land. And after the ritual was done, and the sacrifice was offered in exchange for his life, he was told, once he steps his foot out of the mystical forest, all the wealth had to disappear, and that was exactly why they lost all the money. Kwame told his brothers how disappointed he was at them. He said, if I was killed, so this is how you would treat my family. Everybody finally knew what happened. Kofi and Ose begged him for forgiveness. He said, I have forgiven you long ago, but I will do things with my family alone. Kwame, who is now a multimillionaire due to his friend Ajua, has established many companies in the big city, and he has been living there with his family ever since he came out of the mystical forest. He got into his car with his family and drove away, as his brother watched with tears in their eyes and also a sense of relief that Kwame is fine. As he drove off, the wives turned back to blame their husbands for such an evil act. They claimed they never knew they could be so heartless. They said if they knew he was the source of their wealth, they would never have advised them to cut ties with Kwame's family. Story ends. Moral of the story: don't put your life in the hands of men. A desperate and hungry man will say yes to any offer. Number 2. Trust God, believe you will succeed, and keep grinding. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.